two of me. It's bizarre.
That's funny. Okay. Hello, Shaima. Thank you for joining us. So I guess we will kick things off.
Hello.
Kat and I meet here every week. Same bat time, same bat channel, except for next month. And we talk about social media and productivity for businesses, small businesses. I'm the social media person, and we're not going to take questions right now, Yusuf, but thank you so much.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we discovered is that productivity for small businesses and social media for small businesses kind of get wrapped up around in each other, because social media is one of the top ways that people can lose productivity. So I'm a social media coach and strategist, have my own business. I'll type in my website. And Kat, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I am Kat. My company is called The Straight Talking Ginger. I deal with entrepreneurs, people who want to leave their beige cubicle and go out into the solopreneur world. And I help them with all that wearing 23 hats thing and trying to sort it out, because when you're moving from employee to employer mindset, it gets a bit crazy sometimes. So I help people just sort all that stuff out, get productive and get their shit done. Basically, that's it in a nutshell.
Right. Yeah, so we talk about similar subjects every week. Obviously, it's about productivity and social media, but we try and talk about a different angle every week. And this week, we want to talk about how to find your target audience on social media, how to define your target audience and then find them on social media. And then Kat is going to talk about, once you find that target audience, how to sell to them in the way that they want to be sold to and how to figure that out. Hi, James Mike Brown. Before we really get into it, James, if you have a question, you're more than welcome to hop on. If you have something about social media and productivity, we definitely stick to that topic. So feel free to jump on if you want.
Either that or we're
just talk. So when I deal with companies that are either starting out and they're starting up their social media, or they've kind of gone halfway down that road and they've realized that they need to kind of like rein it in and they don't really know exactly what they're doing or whatever on social media. A lot of times that I find the problem is they're trying to do too much and they're on too many platforms. What some people don't realize is that each social media platform really has a target audience and demographic in and of themselves. So, for example, everybody's kind of talking about Pinterest right now because it's so definable and so specific. It is something like 80 to 85% female users. Their ad costs, so to promote pins, they work phenomenally, and it's pennies on the dollar compared to Facebook. And I'm glad you want to learn about Pinterest. Cool, I could talk all day long about Pinterest. And it's a huge website traffic generator. I get probably 75% of my website traffic from Pinterest. So if your target audience is females, or at least half females, you really have to be on Pinterest. If your target audience is not women at all, there's really no reason for you to be on Pinterest as a business. So I really talk about and help my clients with figuring out where their target audience is. Some of that is up to them, and they have to take a step back and look at their marketing objectives, their brand, who they are as a business, and do some of that work on their own to come up with, Kat, I think you call it an avatar, like a client avatar, a profile.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and it's just as you say, Pinterest is, it's all about that imagery. It's all about that how-to platform. And, you know, for me, obviously our first kind of chat was really around Pinterest and that kind of light bulb moment that it was a how-to platform. And it's interesting you say that obviously it's primarily women that actually use that platform, but the amount of men that I've even had because of the how-to aspect of it, because they just, you know, a lot of men are just give me the detail, just tell me how to do it and I'll go on with it. So it works really well for that as well, but you need to make it attractive. And that's something I'm kind of still learning about. Although I kind of teach the psychology of selling and imagery and all that, actually putting it into practice and attracting your client, your tribe, essentially. It takes a wee bit of time and tweaking and testing. But you mentioned the ads. They're not, I don't think they're live in the UK yet because I had applied. I think I'd mentioned that to you. So in the UK, we can't do the kind of paid ads for Pinterest yet, but I'm sure it will come eventually.
Eventually, and you should be all over it as soon as it launches because it's phenomenal, the traffic that I get from promoting pins. And their analytics are really great. So what's awesome and the way that I like to use it, and this is for you, Abe Bowersock, is when you go into your analytics, you can see your most repinned, your best content. So you know exactly which pins to promote. It's not like, well, maybe I should change the flow of my website or the graphics, which, I mean, that's stuff you need to look at, but that can get really complicated. And really overwhelming. With Pinterest, you go into your analytics and you can see, like for me, my free engagement checklist is like hands down, head and shoulders above everything else that I've ever pinned as far as the most that it's generated. So I know that putting some ad bucks behind it is going to do really well.
So this is the thing you're really good at, and it's because this is your gig, like the social media thing. But I think a lot of people forget that the analytics gives you a picture, gives you a bigger picture. And if you can get your head around, and that's maybe something we should do in a future show, is actually get into the nitty gritty a wee bit of some of the analytics, because I think it puts people off because they don't really understand it. But
it's overwhelming.
It is. And I think if you can break it down into something like, this is where you look, you know, this is what it tells you, and this is the pin you should be promoting. Just something as simple as that, because people, you say analytics and they're like, you know,
numbers, too many numbers.
Too many numbers, exactly. So if you know what you're doing with it, it's great. But I think simple things like that you've just said about, this is the pin that's working the best, so put your money behind that and promote the heck out of it, and it's kind of free traffic. Ultimately, you'll get your return on the investment.
It pays for itself. So, totally. And that's a really good point, because bringing it back to target audience, that's a really easy thing to do. Even if your social media is kind of like all over the place and messed up and whatever, and you need to rein that in. If you have your Google Analytics from your site, start there. Start seeing who is coming to your site. And I'm talking the basics, men or women, age demographic. Sometimes if you're Facebook savvy, you can get a whole bunch of details about spending habits and, I mean, all sorts of stuff. So when you figure out not exactly, but at least the range of, like, for example, Kat and I were talking about this earlier. My demographic is small business owners, because that's who I love to help. I work with both men and women, but I really am passionate about helping women small business owners. And they're usually between 25 and about 50 years old. Any older than 50, and there's a learning curve with social media that is not my shtick. So I'm very clear that that's who I market to. That's who I love helping. That's what my business is about. So I know what platforms are going to be the best for me as far as social media. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Kat.
No, just, I mean, it's really, once you've kind of found your target audience, it's then how do they want to be sold to? Mm-hmm. Not everybody wants to be sold to in the same manner or the same fashion. And I know that's really difficult to work out. You know, emotional selling is really the way things are going now. That hard sell days are gone, people, so stop doing it. It just winds people up, and actually you're turning people off. Even on Twitter, Facebook, just buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. It is really irritating. But then it's going deeper than that. Once you've found that target audience, it's right, okay, we've got a group of people, you know, you've got your demographics, but what are their interests? How do they want to be sold to? Because Karen and I talk regularly about the fact that we're introverts, even though we're doing this kind of stuff.
Believe it or not.
I know, it's kind of like, ooh, afterwards, you know, gin gets you through it.
Right.
But if you're selling to another introvert, it's easier for me to sell to another introvert because I understand how they tick. Extroverts are coming at it from a very different way. And this is not about extrovert audience being extroverts are all dancing on the tables and the introverts are all shy. It's not that at all. It's about how you recharge your energy, really. It's how you want to recharge. So trying to kind of find that target audience and then giving them the message that they want to hear, how you can help them, because that's what it's about. It's not about, oh, I'm selling. It's how can I help my target audience and be of service to them? It's adding value. That's really what it's about.
I was just going to say, and that's where it comes down to providing value. Do you also subscribe to the 80-20 rule about content as far as 80% valuable, like just giving people what's valuable or information or how-tos and whatever, and 20% selling?
Yeah. I mean, it's something I've really worked on, because I think it's easy to know that that's the rule, but actually put it into practice or to find appropriate tools to allow you to put that into practice is a whole different thing. And we discussed way back when I discovered that Pinterest could actually work for me. And when I was populating all the boards, it was like, hi, I'm Kat, and everything's about me, and really like not realizing that you're just spamming everybody with like what's going on in your head. So it's been a really good learning curve of them working out, well, how do I post to that? What should I post? When should I post?
What do people want to know about?
Yeah, and once you've got that blueprint sorted, check your analytics and do not deviate. You know, it's like kind of, if it works, don't break it. Check it every so often, tweak it every so often, but don't like just randomly chuck stuff on Twitter, on Facebook, on Pinterest, wherever the heck it is. Just don't do it because it's not working for you. And we've talked about vanity measures before, about I've got so many followers or I've had so many likes. Well, who gives a? You know,
it's not about, and that's another thing is it's like, you know, one of my previous clients, all they really cared about was, do I have more followers this month than last month? And it's like, dude.
Yeah.
Who cares if you have more followers if they're not buying anything? Like, why, you know, you need your following to be engaged. Is it better to have 500 really engaged followers that are really interested in what you have to say and what you're doing and love your products and amplify your marketing message for you, or 5,000 where, you know, it's like maybe 15 of them are your brand ambassadors? I mean,
it's a no-brainer. And I mean, we obviously discussed that we would talk about kind of target audience today, and that's exactly it. If you're to target your audience, you need to be, you know, people need to be attracted to you as a brand and you as a person, and you being, I hate this word, authentic, but anyway, all of that kind of shiz. But the point is, you know, you're only going to attract your tribe or your clan, as I like to call them, by kind of finding the right people to speak to and who get you. And if they don't get you, it doesn't matter. They're not in your gang, and don't chase them down.
I used to get kind of like personally hurt when someone would unsubscribe from my newsletter. Just that little bit of like, oh, you know, and then I realized like they're just taking up space. If they're not interested, I don't want them here. Like, that's cool.
And that's the thing. If you don't clear that out, people, from a small business productivity cost point of view, if you're over your limit, they'll put you into the next bracket and you'll get charged for it. So get rid of people who don't open, just get rid of them. They're not your target audience is the point, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, it totally, hey, Chris, how are you? So it totally benefits you to be as narrow as you can be with finding your target audience, because you want the people that are following you to be, your brand ambassadors. You want them to love your stuff and love you. I got the best compliment this morning. I did a guest post for somebody else's blog. Did you see that?
Yeah,
and Kelly was like, I didn't even realize that you were the guest post, but I got to the end of the article and I was like, this sounds like Kara. And sure enough, it was you. And I was like, yes.
That's brilliant. They know your voice.
People know when it's me talking.
Yeah,
so,
brilliant.
That's kind of what you want to get to. And I'm starting to turn that corner of having a little bit of that recognition with the people that I connect with and who like what I'm doing.
Totally.
So
you've got to be your own voice. You're your own brand ambassador first. And it's funny you should say that. I mean, I get told all the time, are you stalking me because you keep sending me stuff just at the right time that I need it? And I'm like, well, there might be a wee bit of that going on. Don't know. But it's hitting people at the right time. And obviously, as I've said, the brand is the straight talking ginger, so it kind of does what it says on the tin. And I will give you a boot up the, what we call in Scotland, the boohookie, to get moving. I'm not going to go, oh, here's a wee hug and things are tough. Get it sorted. Pull up your big pants and get it sorted.
Yes, put on your big girl panties.
Yeah, and when I put that brand out there, people resonate with it. It turns some people off, whatever. But most people get it and they say, actually, I need to be taking action now. You're going to help me do that. So, and those people, as you say, are your brand ambassadors to go on and say, actually, if you need your butt kicked, go and see Kat. She will organise that for you. So, yeah, it's accolades, but hey.
I took your advice and I actually put up a video on my services page about what it's like to work with me. I did it. Yeah, thank you. And it is very much, there's this one little piece in there where I was like, you are going to get no BS, no fluff, no, all of that, like just to the point, advice, strategy, here's what you need to do it. And when I was rewatching it, I was like, oh yeah, that's me. That's really, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here I am. Like, yeah.
Love me or not.
Yeah. So, it's finding, like you said, find your tribe and the people that resonate with you, because in the long term, the people that resonate with you are the ones that are going to amplify your message without you having to go out and do it. I mean, they can do so much more than you can do yourself. Really.
Yeah. Totally. So there's it's social proof right there. That's really what you're looking for. Online world is this big bloody ocean of everybody doing their stuff, and you need to stand out. And there's no point in being scammy or spammy or any of that nonsense, because people just shut down from you. But if they resonate with you, then it's all good.
People are very savvy to being sold to at this point. Everybody knows it. It's a lot of, there's a few reasons why, younger people, millennials, teenagers, whatever, are veering so drastically away from Facebook. One of those issues, there's multiple, but one of those issues is because they're tired of their newsfeed being ads and promoted stuff and whatever. So people are very savvy to being sold to. So I love that you teach people how to sell to their target audience and who that is.
And it's all about language ultimately. As you said, people are not daft. They're we think that everybody sells the same way, and I think what happens is, especially for small business and especially people who are new to coming in online, they watch what everybody else is doing. There's a wealth of it out there, and they try and replicate this. And anybody who's seen or listened to my broken record stuff before is, you need your own blueprint. Stop following other people. Stop doing their stuff. Take the best of what's out there and switch it up so that it's your own stuff, but put your own voice on it. And when you're speaking to people, give, and stop taking. It's the old Gary V, right, jab, right hook stuff. Because it works that way now. It's relationships. It's back to even, something simple like I did on Twitter ages ago. I'm a big kind of automation fan, as you know. So I set up a really simple thing on Zapier to tell people that when they followed me on Twitter, to send them a lovely little message welcoming them. So if anybody replies to that or favourites that, it means I know immediately to go and have a conversation with them and find out what's going on. That started to climb because then people say, oh, you're a real person. And although there's a whole load of my stuff that is automated because, do you know what, I don't sit and do my social media all day. And I get my 20 rule out there. It still allows me to have those relationships. And I've had more.
But it allows you to narrow your focus.
Totally. And then you find the people who then are your target audience because they've taken the time to read your bio, find out a wee bit about you. I've done the same back. And then you can find out, actually, do you both, is there a connection there that's worth kind of pursuing? And I've had more meetups, even locally on Twitter, from people reaching out and saying, actually, can we have a conversation? Can you do some profiling for me? This is exactly what I need at this time. So it's relationships and it's picking up on that rather than buy my stuff, buy all my stuff. I'm fabulous, buy my stuff. That doesn't work.
It's paying attention and being open to the following through and being personal, for sure.
Yeah.
And making the time for that. There's another aspect that I wanted to just talk very quickly about is obviously social media is a very, very big world. The interwebs is a very, very big world. So you're at the point where you've got your target audience, you know who you want to speak to, you kind of, you know your deal, you know how you want to be authentic. So how do you find those people? So what you should do is come up with hashtags that are, or find, I should say, not come up with, find hashtags that are relevant to your business, your industry. Look up the people that are leaders in your industry and look on Instagram and Twitter, which are really the only two platforms that works for right now.
Okay.
And start looking at those conversations that are happening around the hashtag. That will give you insight into who's talking about whatever subject, interest, industry, what they're talking about, what they're interested in. It might give you ideas about like, hey, a lot of people are asking about this. I should do a freebie about this or a worksheet or whatever. And like you said, go out and start talking to them, have a conversation on Twitter, whatever it is. So, say you're, I'm trying to think of something totally off the cuff here. So you make handmade cards. Okay. You're an awesome Etsy person. You make handmade cards. They're beautiful. You've got your little, tribe of clients, but you want to do more on social media and you want to find out, who else, how you can expand. So you start coming up with hashtags that might be, thank you, Chris. Thanks for chatting and participating. Have a great day. So maybe you look for hashtag handmade, look for the hashtag, Etsy style, whatever it is, you have to kind of do your own research on those subjects that are involved in your industry. And then you look on, like I said, on Instagram, on Twitter, and you've got to do a little bit of research. You don't want to just jump into everything. You probably want to start creating Twitter lists if you know how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, figure it out because it will save you a ton of time.
Lists are just, you need to do lists.
You have to, or it's going to be a totally non-functional platform for you. Really. Unless it's the only platform you're on, in which case, good for you for being so specific. But, start a Twitter list of people that are talking about that hashtag. Start you could do an if recipe, if this, then that, to start building a spreadsheet of everyone that tweets with that hashtag. There's lots of things that you can do to start gathering that information of who's talking about what's complementary and relevant to your business. Because if you don't, sorry.
No, on you go.
I was going to say, if you don't have those resources going, you'll get lost and you'll waste your time and you'll spin your wheels and you will not be productive with social media.
Yeah.
That's all I was going to finish on. Been using the hashtag the hashtag. Is that like the Facebook? Joey.
Yeah. And Joey, how's it working out for you? Using it for 7 years, have you figured it out and you've got all your Twitter lists and your hashtags? Have you?
Do you want to jump on, Joey?
You're more than welcome to jump on.
More than welcome to jump on. Or Jed or anybody else. If anybody has a question or wants to participate or tell us how they've used hashtags. Jed, thank you. Joey, let's do it. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Joey.
Hello. You hear me okay?
Yeah.
You hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Excellent. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
All right.
Tell us about what you've been doing on Twitter and how it's worked for you. And
Well, I mean, I've been using it for 7 years, and I've been using the same hashtag, JGF, for the longest time. And I got all my followers that way. I mean, they believe in the hashtag. They believe in what I'm trying to do. In my precepts, and me being just a positive guy, brings in, so many followers every day.
Tribe. That's what we're talking about. The people that resonate with you.
Yeah. And it's just unbelievable, the flow of people that come in, just by checking the numbers, every day. It's just unbelievable, the amount of people that come in and, and they come in, they chat, I mean, like, you get to know these people. It's awesome. It's great.
It is.
And you really get to know a lot of great people on the internet. So many great people I met on the internet. So many great people,
Kat and I are like sisters from another mister, and we met in a Facebook group that we both belong to that are it's specifically geared towards solopreneurs and being kind of a support resource group for people that are, just making it happen on their own.
Well, I would love to join, groups like that, because honestly, I'm a startup myself. I just got my not-for-profit license.
Nice.
And working on getting my S Corp, for another business that I'm trying to set up. So I mean, I'm going to do online servicing. I'm going to do internet media, social media marketing.
Nice.
I'm doing it for years with the JGF hashtag. So, through the years, built up a following, and not to brag, it's a pretty big following. On various networks, not just on.
Right. Right.
And it takes that positivity to build what you build. I mean, like, people see that you're positive and they want to come in and they're like, wow, let me find out what this guy is all about.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. I use things like Blab here now. I love Blab. I love Periscope. Periscope is great. I've been using Periscope now for about 2-3 weeks.
Really?
We're not fans.
I've tried it a few times. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Periscope. I like that. I guess, you feel like you're talking to somebody, but you're really talking to yourself. I just like that. I love it.
I do that too much already, Joey.
Yeah,
I do that quite a lot.
Yeah. By the way, your accent is great, Kat. Your accent is great.
Thank you. Can you understand me okay?
Yeah, I know plenty of people from Scotland. So, like every time I talk to somebody from Scotland, it's like the accent, guys or girls. Guys or girls, guys or ladies. I just love the accent, it just keeps
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
anyway, so, when it comes down to it, it's just about, marketing yourself, getting yourself out there, making yourself unique. You can't be somebody else.
Right.
A lot of these people out there try to be somebody else, and they're not successful.
Yeah.
I be me, and in being me, people just come, and they just follow me and they just really enjoy, what I have to say. I mean, like, I just, I'm not always funny. Sometimes I'm serious. And Joey Giggles. Joey Giggles actually came from a fraternity nickname that I actually got in school.
Oh, okay.
So I actually turned it into a brand. Which is awesome. And
But Joey, that's what works. That's what works, because I did the exact same. I mean, I've got red hair, unless you hadn't noticed, and everybody used to call me like Ginger at school, and I hated it, and I would, threaten people if they did that. And now everybody said, "But you're the straight talking Ginger," and that's how the brand was actually born. So yeah, it's all good.
Hey, Jed. Hi, Jed. How are you?
How you doing?
Hey, is my mic on?
Yep.
All right.
Awesome.
Nice.
You guys were having too much fun.
Thank you so much for following me on Twitter. Since I have you here and you like my Twitter stuff, what Twitter stuff do you like that I put out? I would love to know.
I'm trying to think what it was that I clicked on says I'm going to follow Kara, that she, but I think it was just coming across some of your tweets and then coming back and coming across some more. And definitely the quotes are something that caught me, I think. And you have some nice graphics that you put up that are good, that are smart looking. So I was like, yeah, she kind of knows what she's doing. I'm gonna
thanks. Thanks.
And, yeah. So
I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
And your profile picture is awesome too.
Oh, thank you. That is like, talk about like just owning yourself. Like, this is me.
Show the mug. Your coffee mug. Show the mug.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
So yeah, it's you want people that are going to resonate with you. Joey, you are very clear about who you are and what you do, and you're proud of it, and you made a brand out of it. Yeah. Jed, what do you have to add to that, Jed? Have you had a similar experience?
I want to do what Joey did. I want to have a brand Jed Record. Jed Record brand.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anybody could do it. You just gotta, get out there and be yourself. And that's the if you be yourself on the internet and you're the same person that you are on the internet as you're off the internet, that's what it's all about. And that's what I am. I'm the same person on and off the internet, and yeah.
Jed, are you in the music industry?
No, I'm not. No, not at all. Here, you guys can dial me up here and learn a little bit more about me. But I have a social media company that I do training. I train college students to manage social media for businesses in the communities where they live. And I have a speaking business. So I speak to corporate companies and conferences and associations about social media, and basically talk about the same type of training techniques I've used with the college students to help people meet business objectives on social media.
Very nice. Cool. I'm actually doing a live webinar next week on teaching network marketing people how to use social media the right way.
Okay, cool.
Because, and I'm talking like, Avon and Shakeology and all of these.
Direct sellers have a real issue with how to adapt to social media. So I speak to direct sellers a lot, and using some software tools for them can be helpful to kind of space out their messaging, because they tend to be one of these bursting. They'll burst about 1 million messages on social because they just got back from one of their pep rally conferences, and then it goes dead, like radio silence for 3 months.
Yeah, totally. I'm also going to be talking about like strategy, like how to lay out an actual strategy and how not to be salesy, pushy. This all came about because I had like 5 people in the course of a month that I have like not talked to in 10 years, Facebook message me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with hey, I haven't talked to you in forever. How are you? Let me tell you about my product. And I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's true.
Thanks, Steven. Good to see you, bud. Yeah, so there's a real opportunity to work with direct sellers right now because they see that this is the best opportunity for them to get the word out. They just don't know how, and so I think working with direct sellers could be a real opportunity and beneficial to them too because they need that help. They get a lot of support from their companies, so there's a lot of material that they can share on their social feeds. So coming up with content isn't a problem, but knowing how to share it and how to put your own personal spin on the corporate docs that they'll give you. So don't just copy and paste the Avon graphic, right? And so,
No, and it's interesting. I was telling Kat about this earlier. I went to an Arbonne party last night thinking I'm going to talk to, these women that are doing this here locally and talk to them to see if they're interested. And the district manager was like, social media is some shiny object that I don't want my people to be distracted by. And I'm like,
I think it could only enhance. I think it could only enhance what somebody is doing, honestly, to tell you the truth.
I totally agree with you. And the problem is they don't know what they don't know. And she very obviously felt threatened she didn't want somebody else teaching her people something different than what she's telling them. So I see it being a little bit of a rough road between me talking to the corporate level of these companies.
That's the wrong place to go. Yeah.
I need to go to the people that are actually doing it.
Yep.
And, yeah.
Corporate America or corporate anywhere is not some place to go. With social media, they're going to be doing their own thing. Honestly, they have their own egos, and they want to, what's it called? Enhance their own ego, and if they don't want, honestly, to teach, they don't want other people to teach in different ways because it's their ego. It's their ego that's telling them, oh, well, it's only my way or the highway, and that's it.
It's based on fear, it's based on tradition, and it's based on I can't have MD being better than me or changing things. I'm frightened to change. It's just, it just winds me up. We were talking about that. It just winds me up.
Well, and then after she, told me that social media is just not something her people need to be doing because it's too distracting, then she tried to convince me for the next 30 minutes that I needed to be an Arbonne consultant. And I'm like, thank you
See, that's
for
it.
proving my point.
That's it. That proves the point. That proves the point of that's why I'm proud to be doing what I'm doing. That's why I'm proud to be on my own, doing my own thing. I don't need, these people telling me, I've been there and I've done that. 8 jobs in 11 years. I couldn't find the job for me. Then I got injured on the job and I finally found myself, so, so sometimes it takes an injury, so I'm living in pain for the rest of my life. Right. But, I found what I love. I found what I love to do. Social media and getting my ideas out there. And now my nonprofit. I wrote a book. I published a book. So I mean, there's like a lot of different things that I have out there. And so many ideas in my head. I'm an idea guy. I'm not like somebody that sits there and listens to somebody. Tell me what to do. In like a 9-to-5 job. I will listen to you and I will be open if you're a professional in social media like Jed or you guys, all of you guys, but when it comes down to it, if I'm not learning something, that's going to benefit, what I'm trying to do, more or less, I have no use for that. I got no use for that. So
well, there's so much fluff. We were talking about this earlier as well. There's just so much fluff out there, and nobody just gets to the point. And I think most of us are either trying to learn or do our thing. You're not frightened to share stuff, but what you're prepared to do is not do all that, trying to stretch things out and put all the fluff in to really turn people off. It's get to the point, tell us how to do it, and get in, get out, and get on with it.
That's it.
That's really what we're looking for, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally agree. I'm not one of those guys that's PC either, all right? So I'll tell you the way I feel. You know what I'm saying? So
I wouldn't have gotten that at all.
Yeah, so when it comes down to it, social media is where I found myself. I found myself here. I said, boy, do I love this. It's going to be great. And now I put myself out on Blab. I put myself out on Periscope, on, YouTube, on all these video things. I love doing videos. I like put my face out there with my voice. I have my own radio show out there on the internet, of course. Obviously, we're looking for guests. If you guys want to be on, you're more than welcome to come on, talk about social media, we have various topics. It's not just, one topic and that's it. We talk a lot about health, and we talk a lot about the environment. We talk a lot about, saving the animals. I'm a big animal activist, so we talk about, saving the animals of the world and so on and so forth. We talk about various topics on my radio station. And we had a fun show the other night. It was the special Halloween show, and we actually had somebody on from the Haunted show on Discovery Channel. I don't know, the Haunted show. I don't know if you ever seen that, but I sometimes delve into the paranormal too, because I'm open-minded. I try to learn about different things, and I say to myself, well, why close myself off to the paranormal when I could learn something? Why close myself off to, per se, special gift, people that are empaths or people that are mediums? Why should I close myself off to that? Just open myself up. If you open yourself up to learn, you learn something new every day. And that's key.
That's true.
And you attract your tribe, and you can find your target audience by being just yourself. Joey, that's really the key to it. And that's what you're obviously doing really well about it. I think people are scared to be themselves because, we've talked in the past about all the kind of naysayers, and I always think, as soon as you've not actually lived until you've got a proper hater stalking you, that's almost my goal in life, to find that person. Actually, I think I've already found them, so it's really quite interesting. Am I kidding? Not really. But it's being, don't be afraid to just be yourself and put it out there. And if it, the naysayers are going to be like that anyway. Whatever's going on in their life, makes them to be like that and rubbish something else. But you've just got to get on with it, and don't be frightened of that. If you get that first kind of message through that tells you you're crap at everything, or you shouldn't be doing what you should be doing, or you're not expert enough, or you're not qualified, whatever, like, move on, go and find something to do with your time rather than kind of annoying everybody else about it. So it's just finding your target audience by being brand you, really. And I think that's a major shift now. I mean, I know that Google did that months ago, where they started to kind of really bump people up to the top of their search lists because people were officially a brand of themselves. So that in itself, people are kind of shifting now. It's not a faceless organization, a small startup or anything. It's about the person, really. They want to know the person before they buy from them.
That's true.
There's two parts to figuring out, target audience and how to start having conversations with people and whatever. And the second part is what people forget. So the first part is identify who you want to talk to, figure out where they are, where their eyeballs are, come up with a content strategy, come up with the valuable information you want to put out, your 80-20 rule of content. Figure out how to, whether it's Buffer or Hootsuite or whatever you use, to make it consistent and figure it out. But that still has that element of, if you build it, they will come, which doesn't work. So unless you've already got a gazillion followers and, you're going to get 5,000 likes for saying you brushed your teeth that morning, whatever.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is you have to, after you do all that identifying, is you have to go out and engage with those people. You have to start having conversations. Instagram, for me, I can tell you that I've had people sign up for my courses, and I've gotten some good traction, and I have a lot of fun on Instagram. But the biggest thing that I've gotten out of Instagram is collaborative relationships with complementary business owners. Mm-hmm. So it's not always just about sell, or how am I going to do this perfect Instagram picture that I'm going to get 500 likes on it. It's about striking up that conversation with somebody that bothers to comment. They've given me their time by bothering to comment. So I reciprocate and say, hey, how's it going? Tell me about you. Or I look them up and then I see, oh, well, hey, I do social media and they do SEO or, whatever it is. And then you start talking. So it's just as much about that other side of the coin where you go out and you actually make the effort to engage. If you just sit there and you come up with the best content strategy and you're perfectly targeted and everything's rocking and rolling, if you don't ever talk to anybody, it's not social media, it's just media.
Yeah. Relationships, and as you said, Cara, that other side of it is, I think too many times people will find another complementary business and see them as a competitor rather than that complementary aspect of it. And we do very different things, but we've seen a fit, as you say, we kind of met online in a like-minded people group and kind of got together on that basis. And exactly that, I'm always about the building relationships. So it's the social media strategy bit of it that you need to plan and you need to think about. But then straight away, you need to engage with those people and work out what do they want to hear. It's not just about, right, this is what I'm selling and this is what I think they want to hear. It's about what's their language, understand the words that they use, have a conversation and put it back, mirror back to people what it is that how they want to be sold to and use their language. That's absolutely key. Language is, I think, really underrated and misunderstood sometimes in terms of how it's put across. But if you don't get the language right, people are not going to engage with you because you're not then your type of person, their type of person. You have to make sure that you use their language so that they get that feeling of rapport and trust. And that's really what you're trying to build, let's face it, is about trust online because, as I've said, it's this big, mad, bloody ocean of everybody doing their thing and it's moving at 1,000,000 times per hour. And it's just taking the time to slow it down and say, there's still people at the other end of that. This is a perfect example of, having conversations and putting yourself out there and people getting to know you and, a bit of trust going on and they get used to seeing you. And I think that's really what's great about these kind of platforms to get it out there.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, and to talk about what you said about mirroring their language, like mirroring how they talk. I got this amazing piece of advice that was given to me for free. So I'm going to pass it along for free because it was just one of those like, oh my God, that's the best idea ever. I was told when I started talking or thinking about doing my own mini courses and webinars and ebooks and stuff like that, the whole idea of a sales page or a splash page freaked me out because I didn't know how to do it, and was told, go on Amazon, go find books that have to do with your field. So, there's a ton of social media, marketing, whatever books out there. Read the reviews and read what people talk about on those reviews. Read about what they like. Say again?
How they say it. Yeah, how they actually
say it, the words that they use. How, when they talk about what particularly in the book helped them or what they enjoyed about it, what their frustrations were. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's like, I don't know if maybe everybody knows this and I was just the only one that didn't know that. It's possible. But it was the greatest piece of advice when it came to like how to talk to people in a way that they talk, not in that salesy, hard sell, splash page way.
Yeah.
So when I started putting together my courses and all that kind of stuff, it was like, that was one of the first things I did was I started trolling all of those Amazon reviews, and I made a spreadsheet of like the words that I saw the most often and topics and what have you. So
Cool.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great tip. That's a great tip.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the easiest way to find that like-minded kind of how people communicate with one another. It's a great tip. I mean, I've used quite a lot, I have to say. Checking out just what people want to hear about and how you want to communicate with them, because you've got to get on other people's level. It doesn't matter, and I don't mean that in a class kind of way, I just mean you've got to get inside people's heads and understand what is the pain point that you're trying to solve, and that you can solve and be of service. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to be of service to people. That's what everybody's trying to do. Certainly what I'm trying to do. So yeah, great way to do things.
You're welcome. And Jed, you and I, again, talking about that collaboration versus competition, you and I both have social media businesses, but they're totally different. You do something totally different than I do. And I'm sure you're very clear on how to talk to the people that are interested in your services or your coaching or your speaking.
Well, I hope so. I don't know. I hope so.
But, when I first started trying to figure it out, I talked to probably 20 or so people that I thought were my target market, because my target market is small businesses that are just like fed up with trying to figure it out on their own. And the number one word that I heard with probably 95% of the people that I talked to was frustration.
So what do you do for them? Do you help them formulate a plan and put it into action, or do you actually do social media for them?
I do three things. They can pick from three things. Either I provide them coaching or training for them to figure out how to do it themselves, which is kind of the bottom level. Mid-level is I come up with a complete, specific, totally personalized strategy for them to implement based on their analytics and everything else. Like I come up with an entire plan for them, but they implement it. Or I do full retainer services where I do it all for them. Obviously, the retainer services is like kind of platinum level, and I can only have so many of those because it takes so much time to do an entire business's, all of their social and all the reporting and all the whatever. So it's basically one of three ways. And then I also do like webinars and mini courses and that kind of stuff. But one-on-one with clients, it's either coaching, training, strategy for them to implement, or retainer.
Okay.
So I knew based on that's what I want to offer, that's what I want to do. And my target is small businesses because my passion is I want to help them feel empowered and not so like lost in the weeds. I'm trying to make my business happen. I'm trying to support my family, and I'm wasting all this time on social media spinning my wheels because I don't really know how to use it effectively. And so when all these people that I talked to, when their number one word that I heard over and over and over and over was frustration, I was like, yep, I'm in the right place. This is exactly what I need to be doing. And these are exactly the people that I need to be talking to. So beyond the tools that you can use on social to help you find your target audience, there's also the just picking up the phone, having an email conversation, or doing a Skype or Google chat with the people that you've made a connection with, and just picking their brain and saying, my thing was like, what's your biggest problem with social media? What's the number one thing you struggle with? And then the conversation just evolves from there. So, it's really, you've got to kind of do all of it. Social is social, and that can't exist totally in a bubble on the internet. You've got to still have that one-on-one and that meeting face-to-face, which is why I love Blab versus Periscope, by the way. But, yeah. So anyway, that was a spiel.
Yeah, I think Periscope is good for direct sellers, though. I think Blab is good for people like you. And for you being able to interact with potential clients. But for direct sellers, Periscope is great. I think it's a great tool.
Yep.
Absolutely. And with video, whether it's live streaming or just video in general, being like the top of the food chain with content, I mean, you've gotta be doing it. You've got to be on it. Get over that whole like, I haven't done my makeup.
Yeah. Look, I didn't shave today, and I still got it. You know what I'm saying? But you know, when it comes down to it, I just love coming on and being natural. That's what it's all about. You know, you just be natural. You know, I do radio shows, so nobody usually sees me unless I do a video. You know what I'm saying? Or do a Blab or do a Periscope. You know, so. You know, I do what I do. You know, that's it. Yeah. So.
Hey, Jed, maybe you'd love to answer. Edgar asked, "Why is Periscope good for direct sellers?" I mean, I could talk on and on, but I'd love for you to give your perspective on that.
Yeah. So Periscope is just kind of a very interesting app and very interesting. Type of video that people really seem to navigate to, particularly the clients in the direct selling market. So people like to experience. So I view Periscope and live streaming, not live streaming in the Blab sense, but live streaming in like Periscope Meerkat sense, as those are platforms that are fantastic for sharing an experience. Because wherever you are, you've got your phone with you, you see an interactive experience going on, you want to share it with friends, you put it on there, they're doing their daily grind, their phone buzzes, it's a update from one of the people that shares really amazing experiences on Periscope. They go and check it out. So this is a great tip for direct sellers. Have something interesting going around you when you're talking about your product. Right. And then, hey, look at this interesting thing happening. Share the experience. Don't forget these great products that I sell, that I work with. These are available to you too. Here's how do you get them, and the call to action. And the assumption that Ed makes, he says, surely no one joins social media or live streaming to be sold to. I would question that assumption. That's something that you are assuming, Ed, and I think you would be very surprised at the feedback that you would get talking to the customers of direct sellers. They actually enjoy learning about new products and new offerings. People who buy from direct sellers love to buy products from people and not stores, and they love to find out about new products from other people. So I would say, based on the interactions I've had, Ed, is that I think your mindset that they are not interested in being sold to is a little misplaced.
And, you know, people expect social media to be where they can address customer service issues, maybe not instantly, but quickly. It's no longer about calling up the store. It's about tweeting to them and saying, hey, I have this issue, or hey, I loved your product, or whatever it is. Social media has definitely become a customer service platform. And if you didn't know, on Facebook, when you have a Facebook business page, they actually rank you based on how quickly you respond to comments and questions and reviews on your page.
Wow.
So if you didn't know that, it's not so much that people don't want to be sold to. It's that businesses, especially direct sellers, need to be much more savvy about what they're doing and how they're doing it. But I mean, for example, this party that I went to last night, Arbonne, most of the women are sitting there after the party filling out their order forms, you know, writing down their credit card numbers with a pen, you know, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'll order online. See you later. I'm out.
Yep. So much easier to order online.
You know, and they're like, oh, yeah. Well, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to sit here and wait for my pen.
Yeah.
And get out my credit card number.
But this is exactly the thing, Cara, about what we were setting up today to talk about your target audience and how to sell to them. Some people are reflectors. They don't want to make that decision at that point in time. They want to go away and have a wee think about it and mull it over, and is it the right thing for them? with their own feelings about it, rather than you need to buy it, you must buy it. If you leave now, you're never going to get it. You must buy it. And it's like,
and you know, the best thing, a lot of those direct sellers, when they do those in-person parties, the best thing they could do is have 5 or 6 tablets there for people to do their order online right there.
Yes.
So
it's more personal.
Another comment. So this is actually sparking a very interesting conversation here in the comments. So is that Jose or Jose Watson? So he's on this same thing with Ed. It's like infomercials. Well, Jose, have you ever seen the size of the Home Shopping Network audience?
Yeah, it's true.
Enormous.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. It's like infomercials. That's what Home Shopping Network is. That's what I mean, that's exactly the audience that they're getting. And why wouldn't you sign up for that? If I was in direct sales, I would be loving it right now because everybody's moving off of television to apps like Periscope where you can watch in your own time. And man, I would be coming up with all kinds of creative ways to show off these products. And I don't think Jose or Ed is aware of all of the Facebook groups that are out there that have these parties, like trunk parties, Tupperware parties, cosmetic parties, and people actually schedule time out of their day to go to Facebook to log into this private group where the host will post picture after picture of their products, and they'll get hundreds of people in these private groups, and they're literally there just to be sold to. So Jose and Ed, I'll invite you to one of these. I get invited to these all the time because I work with some of these people. So some of these people attend my talks. So, but it's fantastic, and I would just encourage you to think about the Home Shopping Network and how that is being transitioned to on social media.
It's really
agree with that.
Because Periscope, for a while, Apple were putting out their watch. Now, anybody who knows me knows I'm not a fan of Apple. And every 10 seconds, I was getting a notification from Periscope. I'm going into the Apple store and I'm about to buy my Apple Watch. What do you think? Should I get this? Should I get that? And I'm thinking, but see all the people who loved that, they were like, I'm going to the shop right now and I'm going to buy that because you've just shown me it. It's tangible. I can see it. I can almost touch it. I can see what it's doing. Yeah, that's the right fit for me. And it changed people's way of how they buy from people. And that's what we're talking about. It
goes back to finding your tribe.
Totally. And selling to people that it's not just a flat, it's a non-existent thing. It's here it is. You can see it, you can touch it, actually go out and get it. So it's a different way of doing selling now. And it works. It definitely works.
Absolutely. I mean, my God, and the thing is it's become harder for people because the direct sellers have to be like Jed, like you're talking about, they have to be more creative with their environment, what they're doing, whatever. They have to be creative. They have to think outside the box. They have to be comfortable being themselves. And it's no longer about here's your script that corporate's giving you for your email to shoot out to people. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Care if you're doing something cool and different and fun and you're being authentic and you're talking to your people. So it's harder. It's harder for people to get that traction. But when you are comfortable with yourself and you do identify how you want to do things and kind of get in that groove of ideas and being creative, you get so much more traction than just putting out the corporate cookie cutter BS.
True.
Find your blueprint, find your own blueprint. I bang on about it all the time. Broken record, Cat. Find your own blueprint and put that out instead of copying everybody else. And it's just boring. People don't want to see that. Just saying.
Got some good commenters here. I'm going to copy it because I see some good comments in the sidebar. I'm going to go run get a sandwich, and I'll be listening in the comments myself.
Thank
Take
you
care,
so much, Jed. It was awesome to have you.
Good to see you, Joey.
Good to see you, man.
Nice.
Twitter feed. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
nice.
Nice to see you guys. I'll look for you on Facebook too.
Alrighty. See you later.
Bye.
I wanted to make one more comment, and I'll get off too. The other comment is that quality versus quantity, which is very, very important for folks. Okay, a lot of people just go out there for the followers. A lot of people follow me just to get followers, and then they drop me. They drop me like a bad habit. So, it's more or less they come, oh, yeah, let me grab like 2,000 followers from him, and then, I'll leave. It's not about the quantity of how many followers you have. It's about the quality. It's about the quality. Who's going to buy your product? Who's going to be your friend? Who's going to talk to you? Who's going to get to know you? And so on and so forth. Has nothing to do with quantity, folks. And I'm proud to say I got a lot of followers, and they're all quality peeps. They're all quality. And you guys,
that's the goal.
You guys are going to be on the list too. Please follow me on Twitter. So there you go.
Nice.
All right. And I'll be back to your next, your next Blab. I appreciate you guys, and I'll be on Periscope. You can check me out on Periscope too, and on YouTube, and on Facebook, and on Google Plus, and on LinkedIn, and All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you so much, Joey. Have an awesome day.
Yes, you too. Bye now.
Yeah.
Take care.
So anybody else that wants to jump into our
crazy
awesome conversation that we're having today is welcome to do.
It's went in all directions today. That's really good.
You never know. Sometimes we end up talking to ourselves for an hour, which is fine because, whatever.
We like to chat.
We like to chat.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be a super cool. Oh my God, Joey giggles. That's hilarious.
I love these things. I love them.
Love it. So, I don't know. Yeah, there's a right way to do it, a wrong way to do it, and there's a way to do it that is purely you. And the purely you is kind of the goal. It takes some time to get there. It's not like you're going to get there right off the bat. It takes some tweaking and, being open to listening to people's feedback. And I think there's a natural progression of being just more and more comfortable. When I first started my business, I don't think I would have ever gotten on Blab 6 months ago.
No. I'm the
So, there's a progression of getting more and more comfortable with yourself and your brand and what you're doing. So anyway.
I think as well, as I said before, when I started out, you don't really understand how you're communicating with people because it's a faceless thing online. And what I found was, I don't know whether it was just me being a startup or where the heck it was coming from, but I just kept thinking I was bugging people.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want to keep posting on Twitter. Oh, what if somebody's seen that already and it's repetition? And now understanding that Twitter is just as fast as lightning, and as long as you're applying that 80-20 rule, and at the end of the day, people can unfollow you. It's back to that thing, people have a choice. Change the channel if you don't like it. But yeah, just understanding that about the timing of things, putting things out, and actually, because I come at it from the kind of psychology of selling and all the profiling stuff, it's really how many times you need to hit somebody. I don't mean hit physically hit in terms of marketing and giving that message, that consistent message before they actually respond to it and realize that you're and that you're making an impression on them. And I think at first when startups, especially the entrepreneurs I've worked with, they're just so scared to put stuff out there.
It's that fear of rejection.
It's that kind of totally. It's back to the hater thing, and I always turn it on its head and say, until you get a proper hater, you're not rated.
Come out,
go out and find
right.
Yeah, go and find one, and then you'll maybe feel a bit crap for a while, but you'll move on from it, and you'll realize you survived, and it's not as bad.
Vodka helps.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, as I say, Jen, I'm only kidding. It's water. It was a small thing.
I had a thought. I think I want to.
Yeah, it's because you were talking about vodka.
Going back to quality over quantity, you know, you're talking about Twitter being lightning fast and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I've discovered, because not only do I do social media for myself and my brand and what I teach, but I'm also doing clients' social media. So I have a lot of demands on my time and I have to be super, super productive. And I only tweet 5 or 6 times a day, unless I'm randomly shooting out like the Blab tweets that I've been doing since we've been on here, because I have found that I just simply don't have time to put out quality content more than that. So it's not about, oh, you should be tweeting 15 times a day because it's so fast and you need everybody to see your content all the time. If you're putting out crap, you're putting out crap and nobody's going to follow you anyway. I would rather tweet 5 or 6 times a day and tweet good stuff that people like Jed notice and go, oh, she might know what she's talking about, or I like her stuff, and have it evolve that way.
Yeah.
So,
but it has to be on message with your brand. There's no point in tweeting stuff out or putting stuff out that's absolutely got nothing to do. If you're on there for business and you're on there trying to reach your target audience, your tribe, your clan, whatever you want to call them, if you're putting out stuff that's not on message, people are going to get confused, and then they just think it's some random crap that you're putting out all the time. But if you take the time to, you know, you can still deviate a wee bit on either side.
Right. Sure.
But I think you've got to be really sure about your brand, who you are, and who you're talking to. And then even if you do something left field later on when people know who you are, then fair enough, they know it's just you being you.
Right.
But yeah, you have to kind of choose things that are on message with your brand and what people are wanting to listen to, I suppose. Yeah. So we're all about the kind of small businesses and solopreneurs. So it's really kind of finding things that fit with that, because obviously you do something quite different to me, Cara, because you're all about the kind of social media and doing that for your clients. And I'm more on that, pure you as a person, invest in you.
Right.
Are you cut out to be a solopreneur is always one of the first questions that I ask, and it freaks people out. It's kind of like, what do you mean? Wait,
I've never even considered that.
It's like, of course, I have this great idea. I'm going to turn it into a business and I'm good to go. And then you're thinking, are you solopreneur material? And they think I'm being really rude, and it's not. It's to make you think, have you thought this through?
Do you know what you're getting
Because most of us can't. Yeah, totally. Because it's bloody hard, you know. It's really blinking hard.
Yeah.
So kind of like, be sure of who you are first, because then all your brand voice and your target audience all will stream from that naturally. But if you don't understand who you are to run that business in the first place, that's a hard gig to try and keep making money from something that you're not very sure of in the first place. So I take it right back to the beginning. And then, as I said, your target audience now flows from who you are as a solopreneur, because we all do it differently. Let's face it, entrepreneur or small business, whatever you want to call yourself, we all do it slightly different. We've all got similar hats to wear, while we're kind of building it and trying to get it out there. Mm-hmm. But if you're not sure about your vision and who you are as a person, and the ability and the resilience more than anything else, that when it's going good, it's good. When it's coming from left field, oh my God, that's the days where you just want to pull the duvet over your head. And you know what? You can't do that. If you're running your own business, and as you said from the very beginning, when you're decided that you're going to try and provide for your family, make this gig work, turn a hobby into a business, however you want to look at it, are you sure that you are the person that you need to be to do that? Because my goodness, it's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. Yeah. And I've done pretty hard things in my life. And I probably wasn't prepared, even though I'm like, profile person. Right. I know who everybody else is. Need to apply it to myself sometimes.
Well, and I know.
But yeah, everything is.
I know social media inside and out, but that's totally different than running my own business. So while I've had to fine tune and take the time to do a ton of self-education and things, make sure I'm up to date and trying new things and constantly ahead of the curve. I'm trying to figure out how to run a business as well. And that's a totally different thing. Just because you're really good at something doesn't mean necessarily that you can run a business doing it. Or you've got to find people to help you.
Yeah, totally. You've got to kind of work out, are you working in your business? Are you working on your business? And I mean, classic happened to me the other day. Got my sales page up. Woohoo! Was absolutely delighted. Put it out there. Kind of thought, well, I've kept it a bit quiet. It's a wee bit of a soft launch. Nothing will happen. My website, folks, has crashed. Which is a great thing because I now know that people who want what it is that I'm selling.
Right.
Great market strategy. However, lesson to be learned. Another hat to be worn. I need to work out how to sort this website now and get onto my host and everything else.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of it's struggling through all of that stuff. When you think you're having a nice win. What is he doing? Is this
Jed?
Burrito?
Jed.
Are you just showing off, Jed?
Wow.
Well,
I'm starving.
Stephen wanted to see my sandwich.
He did. Jed, what time is it where you are?
It's lunchtime.
Oh, that's panic. Because I'm at dinner time here and I'm starving.
It's 1:45 p.m.
You're on the East Coast. So I wanted to circle back real quick when you were talking about staying on message. That's another key point in this whole conversation about figure out your target audience, find out where they are, figure out your strategy, engage with them. You've got to stay on message. And I think a good rule of thumb is three things that you want to talk about. Because you don't want to talk about the same stuff all the time, but they've got to be three things that relate to you. For example, for me, I talk about social media. What? Wow. I talk about social media. I talk about productivity and entrepreneurship, solopreneurship, small business. There's nothing worse than somebody kind of half-assing, but they're trying to figure out social media and they start posting about random stuff that you're like, why am I following you? For example, my hair salon.
Eating a sandwich.
Say again?
I'm saying posting about eating a sandwich.
Right?
Jealousy.
My hair salon, adore them. They're fabulous, super chic, industrial, whatever. The owner posts things on Facebook on the salon's Facebook page about like her favorite recipes and all this kind of like random personal stuff she wants to share. And I'm just like, oh, lady. Like, and then it's coupled with the being super inconsistent and super, whatever. So you've got, there's so many moving parts to doing it correctly. And just because you don't have it all figured out right away doesn't mean you won't get there. You just constantly have to be listening, tweaking, fine tuning, paying attention, talking to people. So.
Yeah. And I think as well, but as you said, as you're working it out, Cara, and whilst people can be inconsistent because they're at that beginning of, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing yet, it's okay to fail. I think it's okay to get it wrong. I think it's when you're not prepared to listen to how to do it right is when the problem starts, because it's like, I don't need your help. I know what I'm doing. Right. Everybody else is posting. That's how it works. Look, I've got 100 likes today. And it's that kind of stuff. People are not then willing to listen to actually make a change.
Well, it's like this lady last night, and I'm thinking, you guys are cracking me up.
I know, I'm just so distracted by this.
Like, what's going on over there? You guys keep talking. I'm watching this over here. The lady last night who refused to talk to me about social media. It's like, do you know how much more money your people could be making if they figured out how to do this right, which means you'd be making more money? but you're so threatened and you're so fearful, you just don't want to listen to it. Okay, whatever. I'll move on to the next person who might actually like maybe get it or at least be open to it. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I think it's like this is the funniest blab ever. Like we've never like come on and chatted before. Two people are very serious.
Jed,
this is like the
back anytime.
Jed, you can come back. Bring a sandwich for us all.
I can't believe that we have it. This is awesome, and I miss Butthead dearly. I miss them dearly.
There's a whole kind of gift caution thing going on here. I'm just jealous because I don't know how to make these things. No, I'm not.
The last Blab, one of Kat's friends made a GIF of my face when my microphone crapped out, and I was making all of these faces, and she made a GIF.
That's awesome.
And it was the best. Yeah. And of course, I tweeted it out and was like, if you want to see me make faces, come follow me on Blab, and that's what I do. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's funny because after we've done our Blabs, Cara, and we kind of upload it to YouTube or have a look at it again, or it is funny, the faces that we both pull, again, it's that kind of sister from another mister. Like, the two of us pull the funniest faces, honestly. So, yeah, for that alone, come and watch us on Blab because we just make silly faces.
I can't help it. I've always been, and most of the time I can tell that I'm making a face when I see the reaction on somebody else's face. And I'm like, oh, I must be making a face right now because they're looking.
Well, there you go. That's understanding your target audience right there. That's like, I'm reading that other person based on what my face is doing. Yes. Usually what I think is written like right there across my head. I can't hide it, folks. So yeah. Welcome to the Strange Faces Show.
When I was having this pseudo conversation with this lady last night, I'm sure the look on my face was like,
you crazy person.
What is wrong?
I still can't get over, but that she's essentially, I know this is one of those phrases that people probably hate as well, but leaving money on the table because she's so blinking stuck in her traditional old whatever ways that they are, and they're just not open to the way things are going. I mean, it's even like, you're kind of discovering things all the time, and being in the online world, webinars are the way to go, live streaming is the way to go, video is the way to go. If they don't get on board with that train just goes.
Left behind.
Yeah, totally. So I just think it's madness if people are not just even open to saying, look, I don't really know how all this stuff works, but you can help me figure it out and be open to that. They're missing out. It's just...
Well, and it was very helpful for me to clarify that my target audience for this whole training perspective for this particular subject is not going to be corporate should hire me to teach you how to do it, because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. So it was very clarifying for me, not only to get a couple good pieces of content for my webinar next week, where I can like directly say, this is what you should not be doing. But it was great to be able to say, yeah, I really do just need to be talking to the people that are out there hustling, trying to sell these products and making these other people money.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's it. It's just getting in at the right level then. But even to not allow you access, as if she was controlling the access to these other individuals. That's just a power thing. That's just madness. So yeah, find another way of doing it. Find another level to go in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Jed, how's your sandwich? Is it good?
It's great. I'm watching a Periscope right now.
Oh my God.
It's my friend Amy Schmittauer. Do you know her?
Say again.
Amy what?
It's Amy Schmittauer.
Oh,
a friend of mine. She's here on Periscope right now.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a bit freaky now. Words.
Her favorite 7 podcasts.
There you go.
There's a kind of meta streaming thing going on there.
I know.
Periscope on Blab at the same time.
Well, I forgot for a minute. I was enjoying listening to you in my earbuds. I forgot for a minute I was still on camera.
We noticed.
Caught red-handed.
I'm glad I didn't do anything.
Oh dear.
If this was Periscope direct selling, it would have worked. Just saying, ha 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 ha.
Selling the sandwich. Everybody wants to buy the sandwich.
Yes, yeah.
I think I'm going to order something off of this Periscope.
Nice. Chipotle.
Oh, Stephen Caggiano is now also on the Periscope commenting to me.
Are we boring you guys? There was me thinking we were entertaining enough. Clearly not.
Clearly we're not.
And enough. But the thing is, I get the entrepreneurs and solopreneurs that I work with. I am all about not multitasking people. I'm just saying. And Stephen up there and
use productivity.
Totally, your attention is divided. I know, Jed, that you're trying to listen and watch Amy at the same time. We can see the concentration in your face, but I'm watching the attention go boom, boom, like a little torch getting moved around.
I can hear you. I'm listening. I'm also just typing on the Periscope.
Yeah, that attention is divided. Don't multitask, people. That annoys Kat.
Don't annoy this one. So we have to go in a few minutes, but we probably have time for one short question if anybody wants to jump in and ask, or we could just continue to make faces and give Jed crap for the next 4 minutes.
Yeah,
that works.
Yeah.
Right? Jed, are you in a basement office? Because I keep seeing people walk up the stairs behind you.
Yeah, I'm on the first floor, and we have another office up above.
You can see them.
Yeah. Where am I going? I am going to do things that will make me money after this. That's where I'm going.
And I'm going to make my dinner.
There you go. I've got, like I said, I'm doing a live webinar next Wednesday. And it is on how to build your network marketing business on social media the right way, not the pushy, salesy, squeezy way. So I'm finishing that up because I'm testing it. Because like anything with technology and social media, you've got to test it to make sure you don't look like a complete jackass. So
yep.
I'll put in the link one more time for anybody that's interested and wants to pass it along, if you don't mind, Kat.
Listen, I would put a link into mine, but of course my website has crashed.
It sucks.
Yeah, it's just a learning curve. It's one of those things. It's a good thing because I know that people want the course, but it's a bad thing because they can't access it now. So yeah, well, I'll work it out.
Launch is for, right?
Failing is learning. Yeah. I can hear the words. I'm telling myself the words. What's actually going on in my head is something completely different. There's quite a lot of sweary words actually going on in my head, but I won't broadcast that.
Only knew the conversation that was going on in my head most of the time behind the scenes. There's a lot of sailor talk going on in my head. That's for sure.
As I've said to you, Cara, before, when you get those people who, because I do profiling, people who contact me, come on, can we do a coffee and you can tell me what I'm thinking? I'm like, look, I've got enough going on in my own head without being freaked out about what's going on in your head. So yeah, I get that all the time. Yeah. I'm not a mind reader. I know I might look as if I am sometimes, but I'm not a mind reader, folks. That's a different gig. That's a weekend gig.
Right. So I think we're going to wrap it up because we've been here an hour and a half and have had a great time with everybody. Thank you.
Has it really been an hour and a half? Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the amazing.
Yeah.
And
really great.
Thanks for eating your sandwich and watching Periscope with us, Jed.
Yeah, I really had a blast. Thank you.
We did too. You're welcome back time.
Yeah, let's do this every lunch.
Right. Next week, we are actually doing this on Tuesday instead of Thursday because, we're getting into the holidays and there's a lot of other things going on. So,
okay.
But we'll schedule it and tweet it out and all that good stuff. And we will see everybody around on the magical.
Have you stopped scoping? I want you to start scoping again, Kara.
I don't like it.
It doesn't matter. You got to do it. That's your audience is watching scopes.
Well, I don't have very much of an audience.
Know your customer.
Yeah, no. I totally totally agree.
Cara, what you could do is do a private scope to either Jedi and then post it.
Interesting. That's an idea.
Yeah.
It really has been. I have been making a huge concerted effort to be very strategic about how I spend my time right now. So Periscope has not made the cut in the list of things that I can get to that are valuable for me in a day right now. That might change in the future, but I will take the recommendation and consider it seriously.
Well, I've got another one for you then,
because
if you're not scoping, you're definitely not doing this. But and so I'll give myself a plug. Tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be interviewed on Media Chat, which is a Twitter chat. So it's hashtag Media Chat.
Yep.
And the topic will be Snapchat.
Yeah.
So if you're not Snapchatting, you are missing this train that is.
I know all about Snapchat.
So you're on? Are you on Snapchat?
I am on Snapchat. It's one of those things, and this is what I preach to my clients. You've got to figure out where your target audience is. Small business owners in my demographic are not. Snapchat's kind of the bottom of the rung for them. Now, for you, teaching college students, of course, it's in your demographic. So I know all about Snapchat. I know how to use it. I actually really love it, but it's not something that is high on the list as far as platforms for my demographic. So, but yes.
Well, you need to follow me on Snapchat anyway.
Okay.
But having a fun time. And I'll be talking about a influencer campaign I did for a brand, and we'll be talking about how brands are starting to utilize Snapchat and why. The why is the biggest piece for us because we want to understand how people are using it and what the audiences are. The biggest growing demographic on Snapchat is above 25. So it's kind of like Facebook when they kind of branched out beyond the college student and the older group started joining. And I think Snapchat Stories has a lot to do with that.
Oh, absolutely. It does. It totally changed the game for them, for sure. And I've actually talked to a lot of businesses about the whole idea of doing flash sales on Snapchat. That's such an easy thing to do. Amazon's, was one of the leaders in doing that. But again, it depends on, if you're a business, you've got to know that your audience is on Snapchat. If they're not, then that's not really going to do you any good. So, it's definitely one of those. There's only so many hours in the day. And because I'm doing it for clients as well as myself, I have to prioritize because what I do, I want to do it well. I don't want to half-ass 15 platforms. I want to do the few that make the most sense for me really well. So, but yes, I am aware of how they can apply to other businesses and what they're used for. And I love Snapchat. So I will check you out and see what you're doing.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice to meet everybody. Thanks for the props, everybody.
Stephen and I will go start a sandwich eating Blab.
There you go. Perfect.
I might join that.
Nice. Everybody have a great rest of your week.
Okay. See you later, Cara. So see you on